everybody, and welcome back to Aamsuntitledpodcast. I'm Am. Hi, if you've never met me before, it's really nice to meet you. Welcome to my Percy Jackson dedicated podcast. In today's episode, we are going to be doing part 4 of Chalice of the Gods. So we're doing chapters 22 to 27 in this episode. This is going to be the second to last episode on Chalice of the Gods, and so far this entire journey has been so fun. And we met some really interesting gods and goddesses, and of course the lovely Ganymede, who I love so much and I think is absolutely adorable. So we're getting closer and closer to finding the person that stole the chalice. I just wanted to put a little spoiler disclaimer before I say anything else. So, as you know, all of my episodes contain spoilers, major spoilers. So, if you haven't read the books, highly recommend checking them out before listening to my episodes, because I tend to spoil quite a lot of things when I give you a rundown of what goes down in the chapters. But if you have read the book and you're just here just to listen to me ramble, thanks for that. And let's just get on with it. So, chapter 22 is I get a cupcake and a surprise. Annabeth has come for dinner down the Blowfisses family, and she's bought cupcakes. And there's one thing that I really love about this book is we get to see a little bit more of an interaction between Annabeth and Sally. If you've read Heroes of Olympus, you know that Annabeth used to visit Sally a lot when Percy went missing, um, mostly to update her about whether they'd found any clues as to whether to um, they could find him, and just to lift each other's spirits up. So they have like this mother and daughter bond, and I think that it's so lovely because Annabeth has never had like a mother figure in her life, and I'm really happy that Sally is that for her. And maybe one day Sally might be a mother-in-law. I'm manifesting a Percabeth marriage, so I will wait very patiently for the day that Rick tells me that my two babies are married, because I'll be so happy. And then, actually, as we're talking about this, this lovely little Percabeth moment ties into this, which is sometimes I wondered if Annabeth was open to the idea of marrying me someday, only because she was excited about getting Sally Jackson Blowfist as her mother-in-law. Um, I think that getting Sally as a mother-in-law would be a big bonus, but more than anything, I'm happy that Percy has been thinking about marriage. Like, I understand that they're quite young at this point in time, but I don't think that there's really an age for them to be married. Like, I'm waiting for the day where Rick is finally done with these books and done with torturing Percy and Annabeth. Just joking. But I'm hoping it's years from now when I'm old and grey. Um, and they finally get the happy ending that they deserve and family that they've always dreamed of. I would love to see that in a book one day. I'm not gonna lie, it would emotionally mess me up. Like, I'll be in tears, I'll be bawling happy tears, but the happiness and the satisfaction that I feel as a Percabeth shipper, I'm waiting for that day. I'm praying that it's not anytime soon. I genuinely don't want Rick to stop writing these books ever, but one day when that day comes, I think I'll be very happy. And there was a little moment where Paul and Percy are discussing, the sort of monsters that he's faced over the years. You know what? Paul and Percy have a really nice relationship. Like, the same with how Annabeth has never known like a maternal mother figure in her life. Percy's never really had that with Gabe. Obviously, Gabe was a fucking asshole. Excuse my French. And now that Sally is with somebody who genuinely loves her and she genuinely loves, it's really nice that Percy feels that dynamic with Paul, I think, and I love that. Makes me very, very happy. Let's just put it like that. And there's a little moment where Sally is showing Annabeth Percy's baby pictures, and he says that he's got literally nothing left to hide from her because she's seen the most embarrassing pictures of him when he's small. Aw, they're so cute. I love that these moments where they just get to be a regular couple and just enjoy being together. Um, I'm currently on the last book in Heroes of Olympus, and it's getting really heavy. Like, I finished House of Hades and I couldn't stop crying. So like I can't imagine like what I'm gonna feel like when this next book is over, but we'll talk more about that because we're gonna pick up Heroes of Olympus once we finish reading Chalice of the Gods, not Chalice of the Gods, Wrath of the Triple Goddess together. Yeah, and Sally says that she's not gonna be drinking tonight. Percy asks her if she wants a glass of wine and she says no. Now, this was a big like moment for me. I remember rereading that a few times. I was like, oh my god, she's pregnant. I was like, she has to be pregnant. That's what she's thinking. But I was like, okay, we'll see. Maybe I'm just jumping to conclusions, and yeah, We'll come back to that little thread. Annabeth has clocked on, like me. Percy has no idea what's going on as usual, oblivious as he is. And, Sally sort of tells him that she's pregnant. And I was so happy. Like, honestly, I was jumping up and down when I was reading it because I was like, always wanted this for Sally. Like, as much as she loves Percy, like, I get that. But it'd be nice to have, like, a little baby in the house. And, now she's so happy with Paul. Like, I couldn't. Like, I was on the verge of happy crying because I was like, wow. I was like, I'm so happy for my girl. Like, she's been through so much from such a young age, and she's finally getting the happy ending that she deserves. And I couldn't be happier for her. And I feel like it's my mum. So I get really excited. I'm like, oh my gosh. Yeah, I can't wait to see Percy as a big brother. I think it would be so cute. Like, I know that he's kind of like a big brother to Tyson already, but depending on what this baby is, it would be nice to see um where it goes. I already know what she's gonna have, guys. But we won't talk about that just yet. And Percy is really, really happy for her, and it's just really nice. Like, for so long it's just been Sally and Percy, and now like she has a husband, she's gonna have another child. But I know for a fact that it will never replace the love that she has for Percy. And honestly, like I'm getting like emotional just thinking about it. But like I'm really happy for them. I think, and Percy's noticed that as obviously Sally has been talking about this, Annabeth is thinking about her stepbrothers, and she never got the chance to share special moments with them because her stepmother kept her away from um her stepbrothers. But I think that Annabeth would have made a great older sibling. And what I love is that Annabeth, she's always telling him that he's going to be a great big brother. And I truly believe like that the amount that he loves Tyson, like that love being replicated onto like Sally's own, like I think it would just be really cute. And they go into the room and the kitchen. I think they're washing dishes together, and there was this lovely little Percabeth quote that I just pulled out just to end off the chapter, which is, "At least I have Annabeth." Do you know what? Yeah, this made me very happy, and my jaw is literally hurting from smiling so much already. But it's like, I think the way Percy sees it is like the world could abandon him, everybody could give up on him, but as long as he had Annabeth, he knows that he'll be okay. And I love that. Like, it's just, where do we find a Percy? Can somebody please like find a way to find a guy that's actually like that in real life? Because this man is just, oh, pure perfection. Thank you, Rick, for him. And I know, like, I see so many threads, and people are like, oh my God, thank you, Rick, for raising my expectations by milestones because of creating somebody like Percy. And I genuinely agree with that. Like, I think Percy is top tier. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like, that's the kind of guy I would want. And, I don't think that I've never personally seen anybody in real life that is like that. Although I haven't seen many people, from judging by from where I come from, like I'm from a very small place in the world, so maybe that's why. But yeah, everybody wants a Percy. Everybody deserves a Percy. That's the way I put it. Everyone deserves a Percy. Anyway, went on a tangent there. Let's come back. Chapter 23 is Ganymede explodes all the beverages. So Eudora calls Percy to her office, and Percy tells her about Gary, and she keeps avoiding the issue and disappears. I don't know why. Yeah, I can't remember actually what happens there and why she's so upset with him. Yeah, sorry, what was I saying? To just clear my throat for a second there. Ganymede comes to meet Percy, and he sort of asks him about Gary, but I don't think Ganymede really has any idea who he could be. But Percy makes an attempt to go to the library looking for information, but he doesn't find anything, and he ends up just going back home again. And that was the end of the chapter. Yeah, so not a lot kicked off in that chapter. Excuse me. Sorry about that weird tickly cough that just came out of nowhere. I had a cough all day, and all of a sudden, when I sat down to record, it's calm. Chapter 24 is I brush my teeth in the most heroic way possible. So the chapter opens with Percy in his room, and Annabeth breaks in through the window. I think it's so funny. She comes to tell Percy that Grover apologized to Juniper. Um, and I think she's sort of having this moment where like she's taking the piss out of him because she knows that Percy gave Grover the advice to go and apologize to Juniper and ask her what it is she actually wanted. And you know what? To be honest, she's taken the rip out of him, and so would I, because like just because Percy's like this really like he's not goofy, but he's like I couldn't take him seriously. Like, and him just imagining him giving relationship advice just makes me laugh. But he actually did a really good job, and I talked a lot about that in the last episode. And yeah, like I said, I was really proud. He gave some really good advice. And, Annabeth sort of asks him, are you having second thoughts about coming with me? Obviously now everything's changed. Sally is pregnant. Like, maybe Percy wanted to stay with them and, just be with his new sibling. And there was this lovely little Percabeth moment where he says, I told you, I'm not leaving you again. Oh, my gosh. Oh, they are too cute, guys. Do you know what? I'm really scared for this next book because I cried when I did my the best of Percabeth moments in this book. I'm not even ashamed to admit it. I cried. You know what? I could have edited that out of the episode, and I chose to leave it in because I was just like, I just want people to know that I'm genuine about this. Like, I'm not faking it. There weren't crocodile tears. Like, I was genuinely choked up. And when he says things like that, it's just what more could someone want in a guy like that? Like, what more can Percy possibly give than he already has? Like, and like in Heroes of Olympus, like you really see their relationship completely change because, of course, like they're in a full-fledged romantic relationship now. And like when I read quotes like that, I just get like flashbacks from Heroes of Olympus and everything that they've been through up until this point. And it's so lovely that no matter what happens, Percy is always going to be with her, and I love that. Percy and Annabeth leave his apartment together, and that's where the chapter ends. Now, I'm pretty sure they both go out the window, although I can't remember. I should have written that down. Chapter 25 is I Meet the Goblet Ganker. They meet up with Grover, and Annabeth drops, a few drops of the nectar that is it Iris gave them to sort of that she said would lead them to Gary, the person who's stolen the chalice. They split up trying to follow the nectar, and as they're following them, the nectar bubbles disappear, and they meet an old man with a power similar to Kronos, in which that he can what's the word? Control time and make people move slower, that sort of thing. And he introduces himself as Garrus, god of old age. Lovely, lovely. Anyway, Gary told them that he stole the chalice because he doesn't like people who don't age. Obviously, the gods are immortal, and they cheat old age. Basically, they don't get old. They stay young forever, and they enjoy um longer periods of their life and do whatever the hell they want, basically. And Garrus doesn't agree with that, which, to be honest, I can sort of understand as well, because, of course, if you're the god of old age and the main people who run the universe don't ever get old, I guess it can kind of get under your skin. So I can see where he's coming from. And Gary offers Percy the chalice if he defeats him in a wrestling match. Now, when I read that, I was a little bit like, Percy has faced like monster after monster. He's gone up against Kronos, he's been in a fight with every possible bad god you can possibly imagine, monsters, he's been through Tartarus as well. Like, I'm starting to think that this isn't going to be a fair wrestling match, but then I also remembered that Gary is a god, so I don't know. I guess we'll see what happens in the next chapter. So, chapter 26 is I negotiate the terms of my disintegration. These chapter titles just get better and better every single time. Percy says if he loses, Gary would have to kill only him, and he had to release Annabeth and Grover from being slowed down, basically. And Annabeth tells Percy quite black and white that he can't fight Gary. I understand where she's coming from. I totally get it. But Percy, being the person that he is and the fatal loyal person that he is, he says that he has to do this, obviously, to protect Annabeth and Grover and to get the chalice back for Ganymede. There's a lovely little Percabeth moment where it was we were way beyond where she needed we were way beyond the point where she needed to criticize me on how dumb I was being. You know what? one thing, like, there was a little moment like in Heroes of Olympus that made me laugh yesterday, and like then I see this moment where they're arguing over whether he could fight Gary or not, and I'm just like, no matter what Annabeth tells him, like he does the complete opposite of what she says anyway. So I'm just like, just let him do whatever it is he needs to do. And I love that they're so real and so raw and so grounded, and they still bicker, even though they're officially together, which I love. And Grover offers him donuts for the chalice, but Gary kindly refuses. I would have taken the donuts, especially if they were the lovely fresh donuts that are sugar coated. Oh my god, I love them. Wait for winter because we have a lady who comes where we are, and she sells those sugar donuts. Oh, I love them. They're like fresh. I can eat so many of them. And the chapter sort of ends off with Percy getting attacked by Gary. Basically, he went full in on him, and it was yeah. You have to read it. It's really funny when you read it. I love Percy. Don't get me wrong. I would never want anything bad to happen to him. But these next few chapters really cracked me up. Chapter 27 is my dying words are super embarrassing. Basically, the chapter opens with Percy losing, and Grover and Annabeth are trying their best to distract Gary. There was a lovely Percabeth quote that I'm just going to quickly point out, which was Annabeth's voice electrified every molecule in my body. What do I even say about such a perfect quote? Like I think I'm running out of things to say because I'm just like, wow, Percy never fails to catch me off guard. And again, that's all Rick's beautiful writing. Like there are some quotes that literally make me speechless, and I think that was one of them. Wow. There was another little Percy moment, which was I thought about how much pain I would cause Annabeth. Right. When Percy is fighting, he knows that if he dies, it will destroy Annabeth. Now, I'm not just talking emotionally, I'm talking physically. Like, I always believed that if something was to happen to Percy, Annabeth would genuinely die from a broken heart. Like, I don't think she could live on without him, the same way he couldn't live without her. And it's just one of those things where it's like, no matter which god he comes up against, which monster he comes up against, in the back of his mind, he knows he has to fight and he has to live for her. And I just think that that's just oh no. I'm getting choked up again. Whoa, breathe. It's okay. It's okay. Yeah, like I don't, I'm getting to the point where I don't know what to say. Yeah, I think it's all self-explanatory. He couldn't live without her, and she couldn't live without him. Let's just leave it at that before I start crying. And there was this another quote that made me cry in the last episode, and I'm like rereading it over right now, and I'm feeling the tears, and I'm feeling choked again. Where it's the quote is when we left this life, I wanted it to be together years from now when we were old and grey. Oh my god. So happy you guys cannot see me right now because you guys will probably think I'm just some emotional wreck. And I know nobody believes me when I say this, but I don't cry a lot in my real life. Like it takes a lot for me to cry, but for some reason, when I read Rick's work, it just the tears just naturally flow. And that's exactly what's happened. Like I've read this quote again. Like no matter how many times I read the quote, how many times I read the book, it never fails to choke me up. And they have this whole future plan together. And I think Percy knows as well. Like if he's gonna die, he wants to die with Annabeth. And like you said, he wants to enjoy their future first. And even I believe that they couldn't live without each other. Sorry, guys, got interrupted. What was I saying? Yes, I was talking about that Perseus quote. Yeah, I'm not going to say any more on that because otherwise I'm going to start crying. And then, as Percy is wrestling Gary, he realizes that the only way to defeat Gary is not the original way, which he thought, and it's actually that in order to beat old age, you have to embrace old age. Growing up is a part of life, guys. Getting old is a part of life. I always explain this to my sister like, look, you go forward in life, you never go back. And, he beats Gary because he imagines Annabeth and Grover getting old and frail. And he uses those images in his mind to help him. And he hugs Gary and he says, I love you. Serious, I love him. Like, just, there isn't something that would make me love Percy more than I already do. It's when he does things like that. Like he's so unserious and so goofy, but you can tell like he's got a heart of gold. Like honestly, like the kindest, gentlest person ever, which might not be as easy to see sometimes because he can be quite scary. But yeah, I love that moment. And you know, like I said, like Rick has a very implicit way of teaching you things. Like he doesn't have to explicitly say things, but things like that, like when kids are reading it, obviously, like it probably doesn't occur to them. But now, like as an adult, when I read it and I'm mature and I understand what I'm reading, I see how many clever things Rick has written, and the stories that he uses to teach you lessons are unbelievable. And there are a lot in Heroes of Olympus as well. I can't wait, like when we finally get to those books, for me to talk to you guys about them because he's just a genius. Like I've never seen such a clever author. Like I've read tons of books by lots of different people, but the magic that Rick has is something I've never seen before. And it's why he's my favorite author ever. And I just love him so much. And I don't think that there is anybody, in my personal opinion, that can write better than him. And yeah, I just wow, yeah, I thought that was such a beautiful moment. Like it was such a serious moment, but Percy made it unserious, and I love that about Rick. Like his comedic timing is just gold. But yeah, so that's where the chapter ends. So let's just kind of summarize this up for this episode. So my girl Sally is pregnant. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy for her. She's amazing and she was gonna make the most beautiful mom and she did such an incredible job with Percy. Like I can't wait to see her and Paul raise another little one together. I think it would be so cute. I already know what they have and I already know oh shit. No spoilers, guys. This is why I can't. I should stop talking. Like I talk too much. I let it go. Um, I'm glad we got more of those trio moments. It's nice to see Annabeth, Grover, and Percy on a quest again. It's been so long. Like Grover's not as present in Heroes of Olympus, and of course, Percabeth are split up for the first two books. So yeah, we don't really get to see more. They are the Celestial Trio, like that's what I call them, and it's nice to see them on a quest together. And I can't wait to see where this new quest in the new book takes them. Percabeth are too cute, guys. They get cuter and cuter each time. I don't know how Rick does it, but he does. And I can't wait to see more of those moments. Next episode is going to be chapters 28 to 35, so the last part of the book. And as these interruption of the episode, what was I talking about? Um, I think I was just sort of rounding off, weren't I? Yeah, you see, this is what happens. I get interrupted and then I lose my train of thought and I don't know what I'm talking about. So I'm so sorry, guys. I suffer from short-term memory loss, so I don't think that that really helps the situation. So yeah, next episode we're going to find out whether um, Percy gets his recommendation letter, if he returns the chalice on time, and let's hope Ganymede doesn't get kicked off Olympus. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. I'm sorry I got a little emotional halfway through. It happens when I read Percabeth. I apologize. Thank God you can't see my face because sometimes it is so unbelievably embarrassing that I'm happy you can't see my face. Um, like I said, next episode is the last part of Chalice of the Gods, and then hopefully, next episode will be either the Demigod Files book or the first few chapters of Wrath of the Triple Goddess. I don't know. I'll see. Depending on when these episodes go up, I'm hoping to have the new book by then, but we'll see. Like I said, thank you guys so much for listening in. I really appreciate it. All of the episodes of the podcast are available to stream now on Spotify and on my YouTube channel. I hope you guys like the new pictures that have gone up. Actually, my YouTube channel, I've had a little bit of a change to my YouTube profile picture, my Spotify profile picture, my Instagram, my Threads profile picture. I just thought that we needed a little bit of a change, and I'm really happy with the pictures that I managed to take. I'm not the best at taking pictures, so it was like a stress and a half last week when I had like a little mini photo shoot to try and shoot the pictures for this, but I'm really happy with the ones that I've picked. And I hope you guys are too. Stay tuned. Next episode will be up very soon. And I will speak to you guys very soon. Oh, don't forget to follow me on Instagram, on Threads. Both are at Aamsuntitledpodcast. And I'll see you guys in the next episode. Mwah! Bye!